First at 6, a do not hire registry. The governor calls for lawmakers to close a legal loophole to make sure teachers who have inappropriate relationships with students don't find work in another district.
And here's why. The Texas Education Agency says there were more than 500 of those cases in the last 2 years, but right now the State Board of Education does not have the authority to suspend those educators who are under investigation.
KXAN's Wes Rappaport looks at the new push to finish what lawmakers started during the last session.
Working together, we will ensure a safer future for the Lone Star State.
A key piece of Governor Greg Abbott's plan to crack down on inappropriate sexual behavior by state employees, a focus on schools. This is a look at just a handful of the hundreds of teachers in Texas accused of behaving badly with students. Abbott hopes to implement an online system for administrators to report directly to the state in order to track incidents from district to district.
This plan will continue our fight to crack down on predatory teacher-student relationships in Texas.
Representative Jason Isaac championed similar legislation in the House last session.
Or we would see an educator go from one school district, have an issue, and then it would go in this unknown secret file. They would resign and then continue their career at other districts.
Senate Bill 7 hiked penalties for offenders and took effect in September. But Isaac says the new proposal takes that a step further.
It's really a continuation of what we worked on during the last legislative session just last year to stop this practice of what we call passing the trash or pass the trash.
Abbott's plan includes a do not hire registry, a statewide database for districts to track offenders. When lawmakers considered such a registry in the past, it carried a $1 million price tag.
We really increased the penalties. There's no longer a way for people to do secret files without feeling the repercussions, but a do not hire list is something that we need to do.
Wes Rappaport, KXAN News.
Back in October, Representative Tony Dale told us lawmakers knew the registry they passed last session wouldn't cover all school employees. That's why he authored House Bill 1799, which included unlicensed school employees and created a do not hire registry. But he also told us one of the reasons it didn't pass was the price tag, $1 million.
The governor also proposed today that the Texas Rangers should be in charge of investigating sexual harassment complaints against state lawmakers, judges, and other elected officials.
Putting these claims in the hands of the Texas Rangers will ensure that allegations of sexual misconduct and harassment are fairly and thoroughly investigated.
Right now, employees at the legislature make those complaints to leadership in the state Senate and House. That system has drawn criticism since lawmakers may be wary of punishing their own colleagues.